Hi guys, Mrs. Spurlock here. This week we're going to be starting chapter 37. We're going to be going over 37.1 specifically. Next week we'll do 37.2 and 37.3, and then that's it. That's the last chapter. It's already time for finals. What is going on? Anyways, chapter 37 is about protection, support, and locomotion. So your skin, your skeleton, and your muscles. So jumping right in, here we go. The skin is where we're going to start. There are 4 types of tissue in your skin. The first one is called epithelium. It is derived from the ectoderm of the embryo. So if you recall, when we talked about body plans of vertebrates, we talked about the endoderm, the mesoderm, and the ectoderm. And remember that the endoderm is the innermost layer. The mesoderm is the layer in between, meso, middle, and then the ectoderm is on the outside, ecto, outside. And the epithelium is what covers the surface of the body. The next type of tissue found in your skin is called connective tissue, and it is exactly what it sounds like. It helps hold everything together. There are also muscle tissues in your skin. Now, we're not talking about large skeletal muscles like a bicep or a tricep. We're talking about teeny tiny little muscles called erector pili, and those are the muscles responsible for things like goosebumps. So normally, a hair on your arm might lay flat like this, and then a muscle will pull the hair up. And now there is space between your arm and the hair. And what that does is it helps to keep the temperature, the heat that your body releases naturally close to the body instead of losing it to the atmosphere. It's kind of the same mechanics that make Hydro Flasks so popular. It's the reason that they're able to, it's the reason that you can put some ice water in your Hydro Flask at 8 a.m. on Monday and you still have ice water in your Hydro Flask possibly at 5 p.m. on Monday. And then the last type of tissue we see in the skin is nerve tissue. And its purpose is to direct stimuli from the environment to the nervous system, typically the central nervous system, to make decisions about what to do about the stimuli. These 4 tissues are what give our skin the quality of being elastic and responsive to our environment. Now, the skin itself is broken down into 2 overall layers, the epidermis on the outside and the dermis that lays below the epidermis. So it's kind of on the inside. There's a really great diagram on page 936 of your text, so please make sure you reference that. So the epidermis, like I mentioned, that's the outermost layer of skin. And we can break the epidermis down further into 2 layers. Now, the very, very outside, so the stuff that you're actually touching when you touch skin, that's really just a layer of dead skin cells. It's anywhere from 25 to 30 layers of dead skin cells. And dead skin cells contain a protein called keratin. Keratin is the same stuff that your hair and nails are made out of, and it helps to it makes your skin waterproof essentially, and it also helps to protect the layers beneath the outermost layer. So you've got all those dead skin cells protecting the live skin cells in the epidermis. So below the dead skin cells, we've got living cells that are continually dividing. That's why you always have a fresh supply of dead skin cells, even though you shower every day and make sure to scrub your skin and everything. You still have dead skin cells because the layer below that is just continuously dividing. Those are the cells that create melanin, and melanin is what gives skin pigment. The whole purpose of pigment in the skin is to protect your insides from damage like solar radiation. So if you are maybe of a more fair complexion and you go outside for a few hours and you manage to not sunburn because you're wearing your sunblock, but you still get a little bit of a suntan, that's because your skin is producing melanin in response to damage by solar radiation. So good damage on your skin. The dermis, the next layer below the epidermis. So just a little bit of a recap. The epidermis has the dead skin cells and the live skin cells, and now below that we're talking about the dermis. The thickness of the dermis is going to vary based on the part of your body. So it's very important to have thick skin on the on your on your palms and on the bottom of your feet, but it's not nearly as important to have thick skin on the surface of your eyeball. So there's a pretty dramatic difference between those two places. And the epidermis also is where really most of the skin functions happen. That's where blood vessels are, nerves, sweat glands, oil glands, hair follicles, and fat deposits, and nerve endings. And so this is a really important part of the skin. The skin serves a few important functions, specifically the first two regulate body temperature. Our skin allows us to do this in two different ways. Our skin can relay a message to our body that we're too cold and cause us to shiver. When you shiver, it is a rapid contraction of muscles inside your body that is supposed to generate body heat. That's why if you shiver, you usually get goosebumps, because if we're going to generate more body heat, why not trap it closer to the body by lifting up body hairs? And then obviously when it's hot, you sweat. Okay, the next thing our skin does, the next big important function of our skin is protection. Our skin protects us from physical damage. So, you know, sometimes you might get scratched by something, but it's light enough that it doesn't even break your skin. That's your skin protecting the rest of your body from being damaged. And also protection from microbes. So with the coronavirus, people are really spouting, you know, wash your hands, don't touch your face, because your hands touch things and your face has lots of holes that go into your body. Okay, your skin's pretty good at fighting off microbes, not even necessarily fighting them off per se, but just preventing them from getting into the body and causing real harm. So that's why it's so important to avoid touching any orifices that lead to the inside of your body. Not a good place for coronavirus. It is also a sense organ. It's your largest sense organ. It's actually your largest organ in your whole body is your skin. And then it also provides our body with some chemical balance. When you're exposed to UV light, these cells in the dermis actually produce vitamin D, which you need in order to process calcium. So while it is important not to get too much UV light, it's also important to get a little bit of UV light. In addition to not producing vitamin D, not getting enough sunlight can also be linked to mood disorders. There's one called seasonal affective disorder, where people who are in overcast areas for long periods of time develop bouts of depression, essentially. Our skin being our largest sense organ and our largest organ in general makes it very important, in case you didn't already know that. So when we get injuries like scratches or scrapes, it's good that our skin is so efficient at healing those wounds. What happens is that if you, anywhere you get a scratch or a scrape that is deep enough to really cause any damage, what's going to happen is that the cells along the edge of the injury will start rapidly dividing until they basically meet in the middle of the injury, and now you've got new skin there. Maybe you have a scar, maybe you don't. Burns are a special kind of injury that can really cause pretty severe damage to your skin, obviously, and they are ranked by severity. So a first-degree burn would only damage the epidermis, still be painful, but it wouldn't actually do anything that we're going to talk about with the other two kinds of burns. A second-degree burn causes damage to the dermis, and if you get a blister, then you likely develop, or you likely got a second-degree burn, while a third-degree burn literally eliminates the skin function. And a third-degree burn, a lot of times people have to get skin grafts because their skin is so damaged that it can't heal itself. And that's going to do it for 37.1. We only have one lecture left. I'm kind of sad. But I hope everyone is taking care of themselves. I hope you guys are staying safe. And I hope you guys tune in for graduation ceremonies and end of the year ceremonies. If you haven't heard about those, they've been posted on the school website as well as on the school Facebook. So make sure you check those out. Also, this Friday, May 15th at 2 p.m., Dr. Quigley and I will be doing an off-topic Friday. You do need to send me your email in order to join Off Topic Friday. So I will be putting a post up later this week, and it'll say leave your email below if you would like to join Off Topic Friday, and just do exactly that. All right, guys, see you later.